House. This is the United States private enterprise free state with the topic writs. Pick one. So basically, my people, we got writs, and writs are, writing letters, you know, of your statements and other things. You can look up writs, but I'm here to give you some writs that you have never, ever heard of. Like the first one is writ of attachment. You can look that up. You have a writ of AUDITA, second word QUERELA, writ of audita QUERELA. So you may want to look that up. You have a writ of caprius ad satisfactium. You have a writ of CERTIORARI. You have a writ of claim and delivery. You have a writ of coram nobis, CORAMNOBIS. You have a writ of election, writ of entry. You have a writ of error. Okay, and writ of error is a lot. You have a writ of error coram nobis. So that's CORAMNOBIS, writ of error coram nobis. You have that's a lot. That writ of coram nobis has a lot behind it. It's like 10, 12 pages. You have a writ of error coram nobis audita querela. So that's AUDITA QUERELA. You have a writ of garnishment. You have a writ of habeas corpus. You have a writ of habeas corpus and PROSEQUEINDUM. You have a writ of habeas corpus AD space SUBJCIENDUM. You have a writ of habeas corpus ad TESTIFICANDUM. You have a writ of injunction. You have a writ of inquiry. You have a writ of mandamus. You have a writ of mandate. You have a writ of preemptory mandamus. You have a writ of possession, a writ of preliminary injunction, a writ of PROCEDENDO. You have a writ of prohibition, a writ of restitution, writ of restitution. You have a writ of review. You have a writ of SCIRE space FACIAS. You have a writ of subpoena, a writ of summons, a writ of supersedus. That's SUPERSEDEAS. You have a writ of waste. You have a writ order or command of the court. You have a writ or remedy for reviewing judgment of conviction. You have writs. You have writ and processes, PROCESSES. You have writs of assistance, meaning, you can writs of assistance. Does that bang you on the head for a minute? Open up the senses. You can actually write a writ of assistance, writs of error, writs of review, and it's all written. So you also need to look up written, because written, Ritten, is huge. You have a written acknowledgement from the city, written acknowledgement of debt, written acknowledgement of indebtedness, written acknowledgement of debt. So everything is a writ to be written, and you can study on how to create your writ. So these were different writs that I just read off to you. How you doing? All my people up in the chat, what up? Hotep, peace and blessings, staying strong, no doubt. Fighting crime when it arises. So you have written admission, written advice, written agreement, and we're all signing written agreements that are unilateral contracts, one-sided. Written acknowledgement, every time you sign a contract, you have acknowledged of what you have read, and most people don't read what they read, but they sign it. So it's a written acknowledgement, and half the time, if reading it, and now you want to go back and get recovery and remedy for fraud, it's a written acknowledgement. So you're going to have to find evidence that, of concealment. So basically, you have written acknowledgement from the city. So you would have to get some type of written acknowledgement for your case to prove fraud. You have a written agreement between the parties. You have written agreement for an extension of time. You have written agreement of the parties, written agreements with the employer, written agreement to arbitrate. You have written agreement with a labor organization. And if the birth certificate is labor, then that's tracking all your labor. So a written agreement with a labor organization. The birth certificate is a birth certificate to prove life. But then the Social Security Administration is a labor organization. So, written agreement with a labor organization. You would have to look that up yourself, or you can holler at me, 407-300-5377, and I can give you these definitions, because you're not going to find these definitions straight up on the internet. And Chat GPT is not really going to give it to you the right way. This is coming straight out of the law book. Now you have written agreement with the employer, and we all are working for somebody. So written agreement with the employer, written and signed complaint, written and verified, written application, written approval, written assent, written assertions, ASSERTIONS. You have written authority of the agent. Okay. You have written authorization for the sale of real estate. You have written ballot, written by the hand of the testator, written by the notary as it is dictated. Okay. Written by the notary as it is dictated. You have written certification, written change order, written charge, written charges, written claim for compensation. You have written claim for, written comment, COMMENT. You have a written communications, written complaint, written compromise agreement, written confession, written confirmation, written consent filed with the clerk, written consent filed with the clerk, written consent of owner, written consent of owner. You have written constitution, written contract. Okay, so this is a lot that you have when you're dealing with how you're going to write your writs. You know what I'm saying? So you have several writs that you can choose from. You can create a writ by looking into the Constitution and pulling out the Constitution words and going off of a writ from that. Okay. There's a lot of things that you can do because a writ is what you need. You know, writs, you need your affidavits, you know, writ versus affidavit. Plug that in. So you got a lot of stuff that is straight up what you're going to have to start looking into when you're writing your writs up, because a writ is very important. I know that when I first started out, I wrote a writ about to a debt collector, and I put in the I took stuff out of the Bible from Ruth and put in my writ. And at the end of that writ, I gave them the you know, the birth certificate number and the social, and I told them to go in and settle the debt. Never heard from the company again, and it was removed from the credit report because they settled the debt with a writ that I wrote. And that's when I first started out. And I know that debt was a I think it was a freaking it was some bullshit debt. But they sent I sent them that debt through I sent them that writ through the mail, and I never heard from that company again, and it was removed from my credit report. Now, the thing with removing credit, getting, you know, some of the debt, if you're going through your trustee, you know, because, you know, the trustee of the company that you're paying the debt off with, you will have to, substance for substance, sometimes can help you get the debt erased. Like, for instance, one of the cats that came through was like, he told me that he sent in a car contract that he went into the car dealership with, and he did a 1099-A, wrote up everything on it. The car dealer, they gave him the bill, the bill of sale. He had a repossession on the debt on his credit report. He had a debt on his credit report of a repossession. So he looked up the trustee. He sent the trustee in the bill of sale for the brand new car, and he sent in the debt for the repossession and the payment on a 1099-A. The trustee, he did not hear back from that trustee for like 9 months. The trustee sent him in the mail the title to the vehicle that was repossessed, and he told me he sent that in. He got it wiped off the credit report because the car was paid for. The trustee did everything. But he said he think it was the substance for substance how he got the repossession and the title for the car was through the trustee, being that he had given the trustee a brand new car that he thought he was going to get. The trustee gave him the title for a repossessed car, and which helped him to get it removed from the credit report, but he never got the new vehicle because it was a trade, substance for substance, a new car for a repossession of a title that got removed off the credit report. So basically, that's what you got to go through. So, for those that have an ear to hear what I'm talking about, that's the bottom line. You gotta, it's substance for substance. You can get a lot of things removed from your credit report through the trustee. And sometimes you may have to do substance for substance, meaning that if you want a repossession taken off, you may have to walk into a car dealership and get a bill of sale for a brand new car, send that into the trustee with the 1099-A for the car that was already in repossession, and have all the paperwork done up right, send it into the trustee that's over the car company where it's at, yada. It can be done because I've seen it with my own two eyes, and I've done it myself. So I know it for a fact to be true. Yeah, you ain't gonna get the new car that unless you go into one dealership, get a bill of sale and everything, and then go into another car dealership, get another bill of sale, wrap that up in a bow, get all the paperwork on it, send it out to the trustee. That's substance for substance. You giving them two vehicles. So the trustee they're going to take one and they probably will give you that one. So, it's the trade-off is substance for substance for those that can hear, have an ear to hear, and that you can do as a regular person. So that's an equal trade. So, but you got to know what you're doing, and you got to know the right trustee to get the vehicle, the bill of sales to even get the vehicle. So, you want to get at the state, 407-300-5377. We can show you how to get that paperwork done up. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is that, we got that private banking class. All right. That private banking class is $100. It's a 2-hour class. We got that judge class. That's a 2-hour class. And that's $125. We got that secured parties class. That's a 2-hour class. That's $100. We got the Family Crescent class. That's $100. That's a 2-hour class. We also have the Postmaster class. That's a 2-hour class, and that's $125. And basically, these classes put you in a position of power, because power is what you need right now. You see, if you're listening to the news and you're listening to a lot of things, everything is ass backwards. What they say forwards, turn it backwards. There's your truth right there. So, my people, get at the state, 407-300-5377. This is the United States Private Enterprise Free State. We always come in and give you that real, good, juicy information that you need to get through. You got to be on the land to stand. What puts you on the land? It's your paperwork. What puts you on the land is your BC. What puts you on the land is your bank. What puts you on the land is your paperwork, because nobody else is going to write your paperwork. They could administer your estate and they could be executives over your estate until you come back and make the claim. So once you make the claim and that you can handle your own affairs, yes, your account will get abandoned by any trustee that was on it, because now you've put your claim in and you said that you can handle your own affairs. So now you got to handle your own affairs. And that means all the IRS work, all the tax filings, everything. You have to handle it, or you're going to hire, you know, an accountant. So that's where everybody's at with it, you know. And if you're going to have your own bank, you know, it's a lot with banking, because you're going to need to set up your own software to have your own system. You see, you cannot incorporate yourself into their system or charter your bank into the New York or into the state, into your state banking system, because they will control your bank and control you. That is why you will have to set up your own banking system, and that's what we show you how to do. You're going to have to use your own software, because it's a lot. Software for banking is expensive, but you can do it, because we see that certain people are talking about they're going live next week with their banking system. So they've said they've been, you know, with their banking system is finally going up. They said they've been at it for over 10 years trying to set a banking system up, and they finally supposed to go live next week. We'll see what happens. You know, they said they got you know, got their own software. They had someone, you know, create the software, the setup, everything. So let's see what happens. But my people, Daniela, peace and blessings. Can you say my name? Yo, I just said your name, Daniela. What up? Happy birthday to Daniela. Happy birthday to all the people's birthdays that are today. That's what's up. So, those are Pisces in the house. So, yo, my people, I just gave you like an earful. I gave you $1 trillion of $1 million of information right there. You want to hit the Cash Up, give me a donation, $ capital RUBIE, capital W, lowercase ILKIE. So it's $ capital R, lowercase UBIE, capital W, lowercase ILKIE. You can hit me up on that Cash App, give a donation. You know, because I just gave you like an earful, $1 trillion worth of information and a live, like real quick, straight up. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you how you could settle your debt with a trade for trade. You know what I'm saying? Substance for substance. You know, you could settle debt quickly. Now, people, you know, a lot of treaties were made through how they did these treaties. The trade was the precious minerals and metals of the earth. They was trading natural resources, you know, for treaties. Just to sign, get somebody to sign a treaty, you know, they had to give them something. So think about it, my people. Think about it. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Think. The only thing you got is your brain, and your brain is the only thing that you're going to have. You have to think. You have to think, because this whole process is a process of creation. You're the creator, You're the painter, you're the writer, you're the scripter. You're the one that has to create what you want and how you want your life and your legacy to be on this planet. What do you want your trust? How do you want to set your state, your court? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things. Now you have other people on here talking about how to set up the Indian tribe. Yeah, you could set up your Indian tribe, but he left out a whole lot of information on how to set up that Indian tribe. You know, shit. You know, the Indian tribe is still a state, but then again, no, it's not. We show you how to set up an Indian tribe the right way. Okay. Any tribe you want to set up. The United States Private Enterprise Free State can show you how to do that because we do stuff like that. 407-300-5377. Get at the United States Private Enterprise Free State. We got the goods in your hood, straight up. We got the goods, my people. Now, Wild Wild West series. They got series 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's a Western. And it was, telling you all about the feds. The feds was back then in 1865, 1776, after, George Washington did whatever he did with the Moorish Empire. But George Washington and all the rest of these people had treaties. Okay. And in the Wild Wild West Western, it's a classic. It has 4 series. The first series you would have to watch because it's in black and white and it's giving you the history on how all this shit went down. So, it's real. It's showing you how the people lived in the mountains and came out of the mountains. How they created in the mountains. The mountains were soundproof, like a music studio, but they didn't have to put up, foam and all that type of shit up against the wall because it was a natural soundproofing inside the mountains. So the Wild Wild West, my peeps, is dropping a lot of science on what's going on today. It's giving you all the little intricacies, all the intricate parts of how to beat somebody at the art of war, straight up. The feds, the Secret Service, which is the feds, always sent out men into the areas out west during that time, because it was nothing but cowboys and Indians at that time, Chinese and all of them. It was all the types of people out there. But the Secret Service was sending men in to spy and get who is trying to destroy the United States in 1865. So the feds always won. They always ended up getting the evidence, bagging up the scientists, destroying these other weapons of mass destruction against the United States. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say it's good or bad. It's to say that this series, Western, showed you back then, Colorado, California, all the way from New Mexico, all the way out to California. They rarely talked about New York, but they were always up and down Colorado, Denver, all of them types of places where the feds was going into, because those were where the mountains were. And out there were roads that was not even paved. Okay, they was riding on horses. They didn't have cars at all. No automobiles. They had trains. They were showing you back then and that series where how they was building the train tracks. You know, how they was shipping gold, how they would shape the gold as nails, as stakes, splinters. They called them for building the railroad tracks, but they were shaped as gold because they were shipping and they didn't want the shipment to get stolen or extra taxed. So they would reshape the gold into something else, but it was gold. But they would call it something else. And if you check it, they check the merchandise. It's built like a splinter that you staple into a railroad track. So, you know, my people, we really got to wake up to the fact that, yeah, due to the lack of knowledge and ignorance of, you know, how they covered and hoodwinked a lot of people and kept the information for themselves, you know, these were all pale face people that in the Wild Wild West, that was, you know, it was pale face along with the Spaniard. Those were the two, and the Mexican that was definitely robbing people, stealing, and just pilfering anything that was of substance that would make them rich. And they do it to this day. So big up to all my private bankers that have set up their banks. Big up to all the people that went through my classes and have took my classes and are on their way, you know, and are free from the system and they doing their own thing now. Big up to all the people that took my classes. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on in the universe right now. You know, you got to really stay tuned in, hooked in to the frequency and to the wave. It's a wave and it's a frequency. So as we vibrate up and down, we have a frequency. Our voice is a frequency. Everything that we do is a frequency. Everything that we say and feel is a frequency. So make the frequency of wealth and prosperity. Make your frequency, you know, rich and successful. Make your frequency entrepreneurship, banking. You know what I'm saying? The frequency is what you have to vibrate on and stay oscillating to that vibration and frequency. So, you know, don't let nobody break your vibration. Don't let nobody break your frequency. You know, keep your aura clean, sweep it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I really have to say to my people today. Get at the state. This is the United States Private Enterprise Free State with another public announcement.